we as business owners, or we as employees, or we as people in general, guess what we're not doing? We're not getting younger.
What? Hey everybody, welcome to Run Lead Gen Radio, your go-to podcast for all things digital marketing and growing your business with your hosts Quinn
and Brian.
And today we are so excited to have Wes Israelson with us today. Wes, you come from Main Street Office Furniture. Tell us a little bit about you, what you do. Give us this rundown on Wes.
So me personally, business owner of Main Street Office. We have about 35 employees, and it's not a small business to us. It's a pretty big business, but in the realm of small business, it's a small business. However, 22 years ago, started in this industry. It broke my back. My uncle got me into the industry by helping me understand why to graduate high school, which I did, and then followed in his tendency of who he is, what he did. I was an installation company, and it's been 22 years. We love helping customers move. We love helping customers understand solutions for their offices and their office space. But more than that, we are passion driven to help people with products, solutions, and service. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And you're located?
We are 3965 South State Street in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Perfect.
Can I really quick ask about your shirt? Because every time I see you, it has a different, like a similar shirt, but it has like a different slogan. I've seen a few different phrases on there. So can you tell me about that?
Yeah. So, going through a coaching group, a coach that we had some words on his shirt. It was game changer. It was all of these other things, producer. And in doing so, it brought me up to shirts, and it still feels weird at times to wear them, but we have 26 installers. So we have to provide shirts for them, right? And we have our normal branding on the back, but we came up to a point where we're like, if they see the shirt with our core values on them, they'll recognize them. It'll also start conversations back and forth. And even then, customers see it. They'll be like, okay, what does that mean? Well, we're authentic to who we are. We are passionate about what we do. We are consistent with the actions we provide, and so on and so forth. So we have 6 different words across the shirts, and our guys wear them. It's also a memory. Like, you go up to a mirror, you see it, therefore you say it, and your mind thinks it, and you start to act it. So it's kind of repetition and gets it going. So it's really cool.
Okay, that is cool. I've actually, on a few of our last calls, I've thought, hey, what is that shirt? But I didn't get a chance to ask. So
yeah. So Wes, you're a podcaster yourself. You guys have a podcast. This is not your first rodeo. In fact, you carry yourself well, obviously. We're super glad to have you. Tell us a little bit about what you guys do on your podcast.
Early on, it was Elevated Office Mindset, and it's on YouTube. We didn't do a great job of marketing it. We didn't have these guys then. And past that, we cared about why people need ergonomics or acoustics or the way furniture works. You have to have flow management. You have to have space planning. You also have to understand there's new furniture, used furniture. So for us, building the passion into that, understanding why people really need not just to sit correct, because no one sits correct generally. I'm not going to point blame anywhere here, but I'm not even sitting. I need to sit upright. I need to get my posture correct. But our podcast was really a stent into my coach saying, hey, ship it, move, keep going, video. A year and a half ago, I was not on social media at all. Wow. And now I've got 500 videos, 1,000 videos on my phone, and
let's go.
Podcast episodes going.
Love that.
But really, we've taken it from the ergonomics. Our podcast is called Give Us It. Thanks for being a part of it too, where we care about the way you sit. We really care about the solutions you provide. But also similar to this, we talk to business owners or C-levels to get them to understand, what struggles did you have? What things did you overcome? Or what's still facing you today? And the bigger thing is how you treat one thing is generally how you treat most. So if you don't sit correct here in a chair in your desk for 8 hours, you're not going to sit correct at your couch or in your car or something else. So tying it all back together and getting business owners to connect on a different level, be real, raw, relevant, and honest. And then we get them out on the boat, which was really fun to change.
That's the best part.
Change the whole dynamic, right? I found a passion for connecting with people where we are. Not, this room is great, being in your podcast is great, but I want to do it outside of something different. I want to be snowmobiling. I want to be ice fishing. I want to be in the elements where it's like, I can get real. Like this is vulnerable in a sense too. So
That's great. I love everything about it. Definitely go give it a check. Give a Sit is the name of the podcast. Now you can find it on YouTube, all of the podcast channels. But Wes he really is the perfect guy to have on this. One, Wes is a business owner, and 2, he's one of our clients. And so I want to open the conversation up. The people that listen to this podcast, they're business owners. They're trying to grow their business. They're looking for ideas. So we talk about marketing strategies. We talk about things that we're doing. You have been in this now how long as the business owner?
8 years.
8 years. And has it all been sunshine and rainbows? What's that look like over the course of 8 years? What are some of maybe give us 1 or 2 of the top successes and maybe a couple headwinds as well. Yeah.
Change companies. So I've been in this 22 years. So furniture for me is a part of who I am. I can't watch a movie with my wife without understanding if that's a desk chair. I know what brand, I know what model, I know what it is. But past that, the last 8 years, we 10x'd 400K to 6 million. And the growth that takes, the employees it takes, the amount of resources it takes is pretty amazing. We're very fortunate. Last year hurt us a little. It was a lower year. The market changed. So the highlights are, we've got tremendous people. We went from, I would say, 7 employees to 36. That's also another massive one.
Huge, yeah.
And at times that's a lot, but it's taught us to you need to have all the right people in the right places. You need to have HR, you need to have accounting, and then you need to have basically your handbook. You need to have policies. You need to have PTO policies and procedures. So the things that we learned really hard were probably those things. Why to have PTO policy? We never thought we needed it, but you do, because employees, if not consciously, but subconsciously take advantage of it. And we've learned the hard way. And then past that, COVID killed us. Like it was really, really hard. Nobody wanted to come back. Even still, there's a hybrid version, mostly remote and in office version. So, the big things we've noticed is connection. There's been a lot of loss because people don't know how to interact. Right. They don't know how to talk to each other because they've been on a camera or on a phone, not really able to have a conversation in a room together, but it's meeting 30 seconds, 30 minutes or whatever it is. And then they go right back to their day. They don't have the time to actually interact and get to know.
It's definitely the reality that we all live in, especially us as digital marketers. And something that I'll say is, so we've kind of selected, whether purposefully or not, some mentors, business owners, mentors, and certainly Wes and Main Street is one of those. We're great marketers. We've been marketers a long time. And most of the time when we have conversation with business owners, we're saying like, oh my gosh, you don't have, social media. You don't have a website. You didn't do it. But
you have a podcast, it's not on your website. What the heck?
Right. But then in the same breath, somebody could be saying to us, oh my gosh, you don't have HR yet. You don't have, so we're learning the business ownership side along with our audience here. So it's super valuable for us to hear those experiences because this last week, we hired 2 more internal people. We hired a business plan person. Because really our lives, Brian and I, and I'll be a little transparent here as well. We kind of saw the opposite when COVID hit. That was what then enabled us to not only do our full-time marketing, director level marketing positions in-house, but we started doing this on the side. We had people all the time asking us, hey, I heard you do websites. I heard you do SEO. I need my stuff found on Google. I'm struggling. So we just started picking up clients on the side, and COVID then enabled us to take a risk and go after it and start building our own clientele. And for us, it's been awesome. It's been so awesome for us to be able to build a business. But at the same time, we've been working like 15-hour days. For a long time there, we were just trying to get on our personal time any of the work done we could do for side business clients. And then when we finally went all in, it was like and still to this day, we are working into the evenings where we don't take lunches. We are just always working. And so when we take a step back and look and say, oh my gosh, yeah, marketing's important, but we also have to live, and we need to have process in place. We need to have procedures. We need to have project management. So we've started to solve some of those problems, but boy, they were difficult for us to solve because for the longest time, we've just been saying marketing, 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 marketing for everybody, including ourselves. We didn't want to be hypocrites. So many agencies are like, hey, you should be doing marketing. And then you turn around and ask the agency and say, well, are you doing marketing? And I would say 9 times out of 10, you're going to hear no, they're not.
Yeah, I think a big part, especially hearing about how you guys grew in so many employees and just having to let go of certain aspects and trusting somebody else to take care of it. Because I know that's somewhere I really struggle with is letting go because I can tell you are passionate about what you do. And I'm passionate that way about marketing. I'm maybe a little bit obsessed, hopefully still healthily, but it's definitely made it hard to say, okay, well, maybe that step or that piece I can let go and have help with. And so I think I could probably use some lessons in, deciding what things and how to be able to step away and get more help and get more people in there. So
I do have a question. We want to talk a little bit about what initiatives have you done in the growth scene and the business development scene that you would recommend to anybody? It could be anything.
Earlier this morning, I was on a Sandler training. It's the management executive leadership style training about what other businesses. So as most business owners today watching this, and I hope you are watching this because this is really good. They are great people. Their podcast is great, but what they do is truly amazing because what happens is you don't really know your numbers. You don't know what attribution you should attribute to what action you took or what things needed to change because all you're looking at is I need to change everything. But you really don't know. You have this redheaded stepchild or this rare issue, this problem that's here, but you don't know the void to what actually needs to change. You don't. And unless you attribute things or you start having the data, the analytical data to prove the areas you've improved and the areas you didn't improve. So the first thing I would say is you better freaking know what you're doing today, what you're doing tomorrow, and then evaluate it weekly, evaluate it monthly. These guys evaluate weekly. If you're not evaluating your money in your own life weekly, you could have a problem at the end of the month, let alone the end of the quarter, let alone the end of the year. If you're not paying your taxes or watching taxes as a business owner, it can be scary. If you're not paying quarterly taxes and you should, at the end of the year, you're going to have a bill. If you don't have the money, where's it going to come from? So you have to know what areas of improvement you're making to understand what areas you need to change in the future. And that's where I want to say, not just a praise to you guys, but if you take the physical side of life, you can go get on a scale every morning. You can work out every day and you can eat somewhat healthy. But guess what? If you don't actually know your body fat percentage and your muscle percentage, and then you don't know your calorie intake or your calorie exertion rate or whatever that is, and then you don't know for a fact if your blood hormones or all these levels are in check, how will you ever know when that scale goes up or down? Are you really changing? You're going to think, oh, I'm gaining weight or I'm losing weight, but I don't really know what's moving.
And in that metaphor, what happens is that then people say, well, it doesn't work. Well, working out doesn't work. Eating healthy doesn't work. And it's like, oh no, you've taken a symptom of bad planning and you've just associated it to the whole thing. Well, that can't be the case because we know people that eat well, it works. We know people that the exercise, it works. And the same then out of the metaphor, we know marketing works. We know that businesses can grow. So why do some grow while others don't? So something we always say to everybody, 3 things that every business who's trying to grow needs to consider. 1, inbound marketing. That's what Run Lead Gen does. All the flywheel of the marketing from SEO to paid ads and everything in between. Outbound marketing. So that's your cold calls, that's your mailers, that's anything that you can do to go out, right? And then you've got your strategic partner relationships. And actually, I wanted to bring that up. We met via BNI. BNI is a networking group, Business Networking International, one of many. And while networking groups vary in their involvement and their cost and their productivity and efficiency, BNI has been really great for us from the business standpoint. We didn't actually go from the concept of like client acquisition, but this is where we met our bookkeeper and tax guy and insurance people. And that's who's then helped us build the business side of what we do. It's one thing to be a great plumber. It's another thing then to say, I'm going to go be a plumbing business. And we've learned that kind of the hard way, right? So yeah, I would say absolutely something that we want to talk about, and maybe I'll open this up, is I think a lot of business owners, they kind of come in with this rose-colored lens of, I'm good at my craft, I'm going to start a business, it's going to grow. And then one of two things happens. Either they own everything and they burn out and nothing works. It's this concept of the metaphor of the workout, right? They're not tracking right. They're not a professional in these other things. And so they just say, well, it can't work. It can't work for me. It's not going to work. And then you have the alternative, and it's where somebody just hires everybody out immediately and everything goes out, and they just start getting frustrated with everybody they've hired out because it didn't meet their expectations. It's their baby. They wanted to hold on to it. You have to find a happy medium. And this is what I want to talk about is business owners and business owners that are looking to grow, they still need involvement in what they hire out. Right? You can't just expect, for example, we hired a handyman and he comes over to my house and I've given him 30 projects to do. If I just said, hey, handyman, go for it, I have to expect that then he's going to run on his budget and his vision, as you said earlier, right? So talk to me a little bit about how does a business owner find success in this landscape? Where do you delegate and where do you get involved? How do you show hustle and grind to grow your business?
I mean, it's a great point. And I want to bring up two things, but I'll wait for after on the second. First, I have a partner. And like you guys are partners. You have to have someone you can trust. You have to have someone who's going to get your back on the things that you are not good at, right? So there's the first step. You have to understand what you're good at. Whether it's a tallogy, whether it's a disc, whether any sort of working genius or whatever it is, understand your genius, your working talents, the things that you have. Then you can understand what areas you are proficient in and what areas you are not. Whatever areas you cannot do something very well at, even if you don't like critical information, giving someone feedback. If you don't give people feedback and you don't do it in the way that's best for them to hear it and for the business to grow, or you're afraid to hurt feelings, it won't work. But,
great point.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about the other one or do you want to come back to it?
You said something earlier, so I'm just going to say it.
Yeah, let's hear it.
First thing is, if you get stuck in the business, like a business owner, your employees don't think you work hard enough, or maybe they would think you work too hard. Either way, it doesn't matter. But the thing is 15 hours a day, it doesn't stop at 15. It's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week thing for a business owner. So know that going in and realize that you have a podcast episode of ours. Jason Woodland said, you have 4 pillars. I don't call them pillars, but I call them a pillar, a foundation in a sense: physical, financial, relational, and spiritual. You have to have relationships with your employees and your spouse. You have to have relationships with your children and your clients. You have to have a financial mind to be understanding your personal and business life, as well as you have to think about the physical aspect. You have to take care of yourself, because if you're not physically able to run your business, it's going to fall apart anyway. And you have to have some sort of belief in something. Otherwise, you can make your own reality out of whatever you believe, consciously or subconsciously. So make sure that you understand business is important, but really you have to understand all 4 things in your life to be able to run a successful business. Because success can be defined in numbers, but you could have bad relationships or a bad belief in something, or not even be physically able to enjoy that success. So understanding all 4 aspects is something I truly believe business owners really need to do.
I love it. This is why I consider us friends. You're very insightful, very wise. We have much to learn from Wes.
I'm a learning. I've had great mentors. My uncle's one of them. So
that's great. And that's actually a really good point that we've not really talked about is business success is quite contingent on surrounding yourself with smart, good people and examples of success that you're looking for and examples of what you don't want, right? Largely, Run Lead Gen was built off of, and we've kind of come out to the industry a couple of times with our Dukes Up, like things that we just feel like really suck about marketing and marketing industry. In 2008, it's this agency boom. Everybody's going to be an agency owner, and they go, Google's getting big, and they go and they sell it, and then they outsource it, and they just play this middle manager type thing, and then they bank on churn, and they just build a business off of that. And so many people that we talk to have had that experience, and so they're so burned by marketing. So that's a bad example that then drove us to say, hey, there's a better mousetrap out there that we can do. And that is, for one, do actual marketing, as actual marketers, hire marketers, put marketers on clients, and build a marketing team, not just, placaters and make you happy doers. I mean, there are businesses that have done that, but yeah, examples of good and examples of bad certainly help then motivate.
And I mean, you bring up a great point. So obviously we're on their podcast today. I just want to say I'm grateful for that. But I really want to express it. As a business owner, guess what you have to do? You have to watch your freaking money.
That's right.
It's your money. And your employees will spend it as if it's their money, but it is not going to affect their pay. It's not going to affect their home life. They will still leave at 5 or 4, whatever their day is, and they go home. These guys are a business partner that business partners with you. And it's super important to me, to have a marketing person in our staff, but also have a team that's going to do the things that I have no clue what I should do. I know what we want. I know the direction we're going. I'm not the implementer all the time, and I'm the kind of the visionary. I've got a good partner that's a visionary too, but man, without the team to back you up to make sure, hey, you have a podcast and it's not in your episode, there's an RSS feed, there's this. I'm like, the hell does all that mean? I don't know.
We have this conversation a lot. And Brian, I want to make sure you get some questions in here, but often business owners, especially prospective clients, will say, I just don't understand why I need whatever, SEO, a website, fill it in. They say it for everything. We've heard it all. I don't know why I would need ads. I don't know why I would need marketing automation. And what we always rebut with is whether you do it today or in 10 years, if you are going to grow this big business and you are going to play with the big boys and be a top dog, you will have to do this eventually. So what does that mean? You either do it yourself. That's an option. You got to learn it. You got to take the time, right? And then it's not you doing your other stuff. You got to hire it in-house. And that works for a lot of people as well, right? But it's going to be twice or sometimes 3 times the cost of what you would hire somebody like my team to do. And then you have a team of us doing it, doing all this stuff. And that's the third option, right? Hiring it to somebody like an agency or outsourced. And the difference between hiring any agency, being a vendor, somebody who's going to charge you by the hour or by the word count or this or that, by project, by deliverable, and hiring somebody like Run Lead Gen is we are a partner. There are no termed contracts. Clients stay with us only if and when we continue to deliver great product. And so we won't go to bed until it's done, right? And so we're going to make sure the right people are on it at all times. I say often to Brian, if for whatever reason we couldn't hack it, we can't make the marketing business work. If for whatever reason Run Lead Gen went into the ground today, I would start another business, and this is probably what I would get a loan. I'd hire another marketing agency, somebody who could do it, right? I'd hire somebody, I'd find a large ticket item, like maybe roofing. I'd use the rest of my loan to pay a roofer to come do the roofing. And I would build a business with people who know how to do what they can do well. That's what I would do. And so I hear that rebuttal of like, I don't know why I need marketing, or I don't know why I would hire out tax, or I don't know why. And I just, in the back of my head, and sometimes I'll say it outright. I tried so hard to like be nice, but then I'm saying that, then you're saying to me, you don't want to grow this to a long-term, profitable, sustainable business over the course of time. That's what you're saying to me when you say that.
So I wanted to ask you, so in these last years where you've grown your team so much, you've probably tried a lot of different marketing tactics and paths along the way. what were some of the things that you felt like really helped drive your business and grow to the point where you guys have gotten to now?
First and foremost, we're a service-based business that sells products. So for us to answer the question directly, there's a multitude of 3, 5, 10, or 20 things that we've done. Now, what's amazing and what's also scary at the same point is we didn't track it analytically. So to tell you numbers based, we can tell you what we gross, but we can't tell you what contributed or attributed to that growth. We can say all of us collectively worked hard, but recently in the last 2 years, networking for sure, finding good partners that not just say they're going to help you. Any marketing company will reach out to a business owner today and go, hey, I will help you increase your lead flow. Well, great. How are you going to do that? We do this, this, and this. But guess what? They're not going to call you monthly. They're not, maybe even quarterly, and maybe even annually. They're not going to review like these guys do every week to show you what's moving, what's not, what needs to change, what doesn't. And I would say for us, we didn't do a great job tracking. We didn't do all of that. We're doing it at a much greater level now. And we've got seven to 8 salespeople within the business. We've got inside, outside sales. We've got relationship selling. We've got labor decommission selling. So all of those things with the multitude of, my coach said, just take a video every job. So like I said, getting in front of a camera, I would say as a business owner, the first thing you need to do is you're branding yourself, whether it's your business or not. You are the brand. You wear it, you sleep it, you do it every day. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's honestly a muscle that I didn't ever really flex until more recently, which is producing the content. But I do think it helps to give yourself confidence about what you're doing when you actually say it out loud and put it out to the world. And so, yeah, that's very cool that you guys, or you in particular, I know, are doing a lot of that content. Yeah. I wanted to ask you a little bit about some of the ergonomic stuff, because I know that's a big part of Wes and everything that he's about. And so I was just curious if you have heard from businesses that you've worked with that you've helped with ergonomics, if that has like impact on their team's output, or like what kind of changes people see from making that type of ergonomic change.
And thanks for bringing that up. Yes. So simple answer is this. Yes. We as business owners, or we as employees, or we as people in general, guess what we're not doing? We're not getting younger. Our bodies are either going to adapt to the lifestyle we live today. So what we eat, what we do, how we sleep, whatever. Now there's some simple facts that we know. You need to drink water. You need to eat semi-healthy. You need to have sleep, a good amount of it. And then you need to be physical. You need to work, right? Or move. Outside of that, ergonomics play into everything. It's how you do there's ergonomic lifting, there's ergonomic, like the ways to put stuff in pallet racking, way to twist or to lift or to move, or in general, so many things, the way to sit. And, a fact is this: most people sleep in a mattress less than they sit in a desk chair. And yet they'll spend multiple thousands on a mattress. And yet today we'll spend $50 or $100 on a chair and not know even how to sit in it, let alone the chair's not ergonomic. It's amazing to me that you spend a third of your life in that chair and yet it's only worth $50 or $100. But a mattress that you spend less than a third of your life in, some people maybe spend a third, it depends on who they are, but you spend thousands and thousands and you replace every 6-10 years. It's amazing to me.
Yeah, I personally never give enough thought to that until more recently, and actually just our interactions with you, it's given me more and more thought. But that is a really good point, and it makes me feel like I need to get a new chair, honestly.
Well, and you asked about the corporate thing, so I'll just touch on that really fast. When we do corporate assessments with businesses, we do it on the C level. So we get together with the whole team. And from there, what's really unique is, especially during COVID, people lost connection. They lost this way to be able to connect with each other. But when they do an ergonomic assessment with the C-level or the employees in a room, accountability level changes within the team. They hold each other accountable. It's like you guys holding us accountable to getting the marketing done. It changes the team. It develops growth, and it develops something that's been missing since COVID, since everyone went home.
Yeah.
And it's truly amazing to watch businesses, let alone individuals, change. Their lives change. They understand they have to sit correct. Like, I broke my back when I was young, so I didn't have the choice to choose whether or not to pay attention. I had to. So
it's so crazy. And I love that has become such a passion for you, because now, you're spreading that. That's the thing about passion, is then you evangelize, right? And so that's really cool. I had a thought. When we talk about what we've done and what we've done together, right? I've got Jonas getting me a chair here shortly. I'm very excited. When we talk about the marketing side, you guys had marketing, and they were doing, they weren't doing nothing. They were doing a pretty good job. You had a website, you had, a local set, you had things going, you had somebody in-house that was doing a lot of great things as well. When we came in, we tweaked a couple things, we fixed a couple holes, we connected a couple things. Your organic traffic has grown in the last 2 months considerably, but that's not it. It's not the end. And so this is something else we want to talk about, not just marketing, but business growth in general, expectation setting. How important is it to help set expectations and understand reasonable, both for yourself, your employees, your partners and vendors? Talk to me a little bit about that.
I'd say the first thing up front that we did a poor job on as a business, because we were so small, is setting expectations with employees. You assume that you hire someone and they're going to do their job. But they can do their job if you didn't identify truly what they have to do, like what it actually takes to move the needle or change, or the standard. Here is the standard. You cannot go below. And if you do, setting the expectation of what can happen at that point. Very few people live up to the business owner's own personal idea of what standard is. Because as a business owner, it's your whole life on this. It's your wife, it's your family, it's your kids, it's everything about the business, right? So on that side, you have to make sure that standards or expectations, not just with, employees are the first part. And if you can't do it there, you're not going to set it with the customers. And if you're not going to do it there, you're not going to get paid on time. It's going to create this snowball effect that is going to hurt your cash flow.
Yeah.
It's going to hurt your business, and you won't be able to survive if you don't really take the expectation side, set them truthfully up front, and move at that point.
I want to round out and finish up with telling us a little, just something unique about you. I love that you did that on your podcast. Tell us a little bit about Wes, something to help us remember you by, and any last thoughts you have for this audience, looking to start a business, grow a business, or otherwise. Yeah.
I'm going to do a couple things, but first off, realize starting a business is one of the hardest things you'll ever do in your life. And if you don't take it serious, if you don't take those 4 pillars or foundational blocks in your life seriously, if you're married today and you have a spouse or you have children, guess what they're going to do? They're going to mimic the actions you do. So if you're not present, if you're not there, odds are they're going to understand that that's how they're going to live their life or their relationships, especially as your kids develop. So really finding and not being afraid to share your vulnerability, because as a business owner, it's lonely. It is lonely. And if you are a business owner, you will understand what I'm saying. It can be super lonely because sure, you have a partner maybe, or maybe you don't, but man, cash flow can hurt you in ways that your wife or your children may not even understand because you've never told them. So for me, my biggest thing is my wife is my goddess. She's not my wife. She is my goddess. She's the thing I love most in this world. My kids, my princesses are next. And with her by my side and her support and us talking every day, her business, my business, man, having that support there, not just my partner, I can tackle anything that comes my way. So finding a support system, find that, whether it's a group of business owners, a group of networking, or even social media guys or SEO guys that help you understand things, but really take the time to dive into your family too. That's what I'd say.
I love that.
That was awesome.
I never considered myself entrepreneurial. I come from very conservative, red blood, type A, mom and dad, financial advisor, insurance adjuster. They think I'm crazy for starting a business, right? But since we've been here, we've met fantastic people like you. We've seen and been a part of fantastic growth. We've seen millions of dollars of revenue due to our efforts and the efforts of these business owners. But primarily, I've just seen what America and the American dream is all about. It's this hustle, it's this grind, it's building something greater than you. And it's just been so much fun. It has been the ultimate, a lot of people, we live in a digital age of video games. People like to build, their farms and their castles and things. Business is like the first, not the first, but one is a real tangible thing that you can build. And it's just that same kind of visceral excitement that I've found in building businesses, and not only just building ours, but we've been a part of building so many businesses, and we're so grateful to be a part of building yours.
Can I add a few more things?
Please.
Just on that same subject.
Yes.
Sorry if it goes too long.
No, we're good.
So you bring up some great points for me to think about. Now, if you think of branding, there's a book out there called You Inc. It was recommended to me. You need to brand yourself personally for your business because you are the business, right? Outside of that, if you think about you branding yourself, there's doubt there. If you remember Warren Buffett or Charlie Munger back in the day, Charlie Munger said, if you don't have self-doubt or some sort of doubt in the business, odds are you're not doing enough to change your trajectory or your growth. So you need to have doubt there, but you also need to have the conscious side of creating that opposite effect. You need to be positive, present tense for who you believe you are in the future to be able to live the life. You said something that I didn't think I was an entrepreneur, but you're already planning for your next business, whether you think you are. You just literally told everyone.
Right.
And that's an entrepreneur right there. That's a person who's, if this doesn't work, I try again. If this doesn't work, I try again. The biggest thing is most business owners, stop. Don't freaking stop. Take one step, even if it just is this far. Keep moving. That's what I'd say.
I love it. It is about the grind and the hustle. And I think that's what we will title this podcast today is it's all about grinding and hustling. You got to make it happen and involve the right people, find the right mentors. Well, great, Wes. It's been awesome to have you. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. You guys, if you need anything for office furniture, ergonomics, get you a chair, get you a sit-stand desk, get you all those things, go to Main Street Office Furniture. They're located in Salt Lake City. And then obviously they've got digital presence. You can find them anywhere there. This is Run Lead Gen Radio, your go-to podcast for all things growing business and digital marketing with your hosts, Quinn
and Brian.
And we've been trying to sign off with this is Run Lead Gen Radio, where we'll help you scale to success.